I have two kids, and then I have two startup companies, and super busy. But martial arts is my lifetime sensei. You can quit this long journey anytime I want. But I think I got one more fight. Yeah, I've been getting ready for the moment. So martial arts in general, people, I should not say misunderstand. Like everyone think like it's all about fighting, but most important thing is emotional control and physical control too. So people think, okay, I want to move this way and that way, and you think in your brain you're supposed to move, let's say, left and right, but actual output is actually right and left. Oh, I'm not supposed to do this. I have been seeing so many people doing like this.
Japanese MMA fighter, coaching people with high-performance biohacking. Our guest today on the Settle or Be Better podcast is Tateki Matsuda. He's going to be talking to us about corrective exercises, biohacking, and a lot more. So welcome, Mr. Tateki, and over to you. Why don't you begin by telling us a little bit about your personal health and well-being story and your current work?
Thank you for having me, Shaxi. My name is Tateki Matsuda. I'm from Tokyo, Japan, but I live in Boston, Massachusetts in the United States. I tried to not be a fighter at the first time. I came to the United States as an international student at the beginning, and I studied sports movement science during the bachelor's degree, and I got a master's degree in sports nutrition. And in the meantime, I made a professional debut in the cage. If your listeners know the MMA, that stands for mixed martial arts. So MMA fighters don't compete in the ring, but in the cage, and basically do everything, striking to the submission, takedown. We hurt each other, and also injury happens. Yeah, I had so many injuries in my past. I had to take care of myself. Of course, making the competition weight and keep my performance level high all the time. And basically what I've been studying is helping what I have been doing, So it's all about my life. And then it was 6-7 years ago, I guess, I heard the word biohacking for the first time. And since then I'm really into it, and I'm a health and wellness nerd, and I try to sharpen my sword in biohacking industry to achieve my well-being goal.
Amazing, that's beautiful. And something you talk about a lot is corrective exercises. It's really great. It's the need of the hour, and we'll dive more deep into it in the episode today. But do you also still compete as a fighter?
Yes, I think I'm in the very end of my chapter. I have two kids, and then I have two startup companies, and super busy. But especially living in the US, it's a very fast, field.
Right.
So I try to survive as a person, and then but martial arts is my lifetime sensei. You can quit this long journey anytime I want, but I think I got one more fight.
Absolutely.
So I've been getting ready for the moment. So yes,
absolutely amazing. And I mean, I should say that you definitely don't look like someone who's a father of two kids right now. I mean, you look someone as young as in their 20s. So it's like kudos to your efforts in working on your own health, right? And I mean, talking, since you have the experience of being an MMA fighter, have studied corrective exercises in sports science, from that perspective, what is your take
Yes.
on people taking up MMA in their regular lives who don't want to be fighters, who don't want to compete, but just for their own fitness? How do you think is this? Should everybody take an MMA class some or the other time, and does this fit for everyone?
Let's speak in martial arts in general. People, I should not say misunderstand. Like everyone think like it's all about fighting, but most important thing is emotional control and physical control too. So people think, okay, I want to move this way and that way, and you think in your brain you're supposed to move, let's say, left and right, but actual output is actually right and left. Oh, I'm not supposed to do this. I have been seeing so many people doing like this. Okay, the day one, people recognize, wow, it's so different and so difficult, and then even people get overwhelmed. For the kids, discipline, and then and also the self-defense too. And people think like fighting to defend myself. And no. Fighting, like you learn fighting to not fight. You know what I mean? So there are a huge gap between long-time martial arts practitioners and then the completely different beginners. I think it would be a good opportunity to learn like any discipline, any style of martial arts. They're gonna see the different world. Okay, that's number one. And then number two, I personally think the human body is the most complicated creature on the planet. The bone structure, muscle, and the movement, as I mentioned. So what you think and what you do is very difficult to connect. And then neuroscientifically speaking, even though like you think you do actual motion, but like your brain actually, create the illusion that kind of connect to the corrective exercise. For example, let's say, the modern days, we have everything in front of us, and especially smartphone. So we tend to look down. When we do the PC work, we lose the posture, and you try to look straight forward. Your body compensate to see the like regular view. That could be the chronic problem and then cause the pain. Corrective exercise is just like a try to fix, and then like an opportunity to tell the brain, okay, like this is not normal. Like I thought this is my regular posture, but actually it's not. I don't think any of like very centered symmetrical human body doesn't exist all over the world. We have a liver on the right side, and then the heart is like slightly on the left side, and then the organs and everything. So we think like a left and right is well balanced, but like we're such an off balanced creature. So yeah, that's like a baseline of the concept.
Understood. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that we all know today that learning any new movement is the best way to sort of work on rewiring your brain in some or the other way, right? Because it's such a whole body integration, whole brain integration, and I'm sure that MMA also in some way or the other acts as a whole brain integration, because I also happen to took some classes, and it really is. I mean, at that point you cannot think about anything else rather than being in the moment and working on, right? And trying to figure everything out with your movement and with your brain, right? So it's a great whole brain integration activity to do. So I'm sure that can definitely have that for ourselves, and also something fun apart from the regular workouts if you've been bored, right? About corrective exercises. So what is it exactly? Introduce the audience to it, and what are the pillars of corrective exercise? What are we working towards? The goal, like, is it symmetry in our body? Is it balance? What are the goals like when we work with corrective exercise?
So it's based on I'm certified functional movement systems practitioner, and also the Strong First Kettlebell. These two certifications are based on. So longer story short, as a being professional fighter, I do the strength and conditioning train under the strength and conditioning coach, they're specialists, and then obviously I can fight until like 60s and 70s. One day I have to retire. And then when I think about my career, and then I could teach my martial arts, it's a skill set, but also personal training thing, like help the people to learn how to lift the weights, and then strength and conditioning workout. When I compare those like legit personal trainers with myself, I've been training like twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, and these personal trainers spend hours in the gym with the clients. They've been go through like all different body type, male, female, athletic to the like rehab people, like gap of experience. Like I never be able to feel after my retirement. I recognize like what do I have in my knowledge and experience in my saving account, and then that's my injury history as a fighter, and also my unconventional training, which is like obviously MMA fighter don't train for 6-pack abs. If we train hard enough, like naturally our body fat is like really lower, and we don't have to train for the looking. And then as I continue my education, I recognize corrective exercise is more important because athletes, people tend to think we train hard only for the performance, but also the injury prevention and rehab too. So in other words, we experience before the ordinary people may go through the later after doing too much, doing something extreme. I was thinking like my role would be like a prevention, and then like make someone's life way better, or like I don't want to say this word, but like it could be the shortcut.
Right.
Yeah.
Understood.
And then like so I just like picked the word like corrective exercise as a sexy word, the word's corrective exercise, but like other practitioner use too. So in my terminology, corrective exercise correct your just alignment and balance and your posture, so that like if you spend 1 hour of the whatever you name it, mobility session, flexibility session, corrective exercise, rest of your 23 hours becomes so much better.
Of course, understood. And if I don't know if you can really portray it through this podcast right now, because it's tough to show exercises right now. But if someone was to inculcate corrective exercises in terms with their posture, because most of our audience are the ones who have desk jobs or who work in the IT and who have long working hours and have a sedentary lifestyle, more or less. They might be working out, say, for 1 or 2 hours a day, but rest of the day it's all sedentary, right? So if they want to include some things from corrective exercises in their routine, what would that be? Like, how much time of the exercise of the day should we spend in this, and what would it look like?
Okay, so I think the best investment for the busy people and for the sedentary people, they should understand the entire picture, and then the breathing is the most important thing. Because think about it, we breath, inhale and exhale 20,000 per day.
Right.
So if you inhale too much, you forget to exhale longer, synthetic nervous system driven state. And then I don't know how, I'm so stressed out. It doesn't make sense. Even though you get the massage or I don't know, you watch Netflix and then listen to the good music, but you don't solve the root cause.
Right.
So and then your breathing pattern is kind of messed up, and you go to the gym I don't want to go, but I don't want to to gain weight, and then do the bench press, and then you hurt yourself, and then you gain less. Yeah, makes sense, because you're sedentary, your shoulder is chronically internally rotated, and you do more stressful workout for the bench press because your shoulder is not conditioned to do that. So you still hurt and you stress out. It's not your fault. So that's why a corrective exercise would be correcting your posture, or a lay down, the lowest hanging fruit. It's called a PRI, posterior restorative institution. They have a wonderful protocol to work on the breathing technique. You just lay down and then lift your leg on the couch or something, make the 90-90 position. Gravity on the ground, you can't lose your posture, right? On the ground, you lay down, you have a good arch, and then you just do the exhale longer, so you squeeze your diaphragm, so your rib cage goes down, so you exhale longer, so that means your pelvis in the right position. Everything is connected together. But if you're doing PC work and then you keep the pelvis in a bad position, so that means you can't move the diaphragm well. Just every few minutes, in 30 minutes, you add something. That's huge difference. And also that was the London Summit last year, I spoke about corrective exercise at the Biohacker Summit. There's a study, only 4 seconds you do aggressive workout 5 times in 60 minutes for entire 8 hours. So let's say everyone goes to a 9-to-5 job, right? And then every 12 minutes or something, you do a hard something workout, only 4 seconds. Could be kettlebell swing or jumping jack or burpee, but 4 seconds, that's only 5 reps or something, right? And you do every 12 minutes, and you do a total 20 seconds of workout, and you repeat 8 times during the 8 hours. The next day, fat oxidation metabolism goes up. Even though you're sedentary, you hack your metabolism. Right now, I'm sitting on the ergonomic chair, so I keep my good posture. And also, obviously, today's our first time. I don't do the portable, the treadmill. When I do the Zoom call with my friend, or the familiar guys, I do the portable workstation, and I count my steps. So once again, I'm a busy dad, so by the time I hit the gym, I'm ready to go. If you stay in one position and you gotta work out, you have to spend hours of warm-up.
It's amazing, because that was my next question, is that what movement philosophy do you believe in? Is it that go hard for 1 or 2 hours a day, you go and you train really intense workout for 1 or 2 hours, or you do some kind of movement every 1 or 2 hours, to build in more activity and more movement throughout the day? What works better?
There is a terminology in exercise physiology. It's called active couch potato.
Right.
So even you have more than 45 minutes of workout per day. In the textbook, you a good job, If you work out 45 minutes and then rest of the day is very sedentary, you metabolically speaking, you're active couch potato. If it's go dive deeper, so let's say your muscle has it's called a lipoprotein lipase, which is the carrier for the cholesterol, and also detach the fat from the cell. That activation went down, I guess 5 times less activation. So if you're just standing and you do the constant movement during the day, scientifically speaking, you burn more fat,
Right.
So once again, just sitting in one position. This is why sitting is a third smoking. Yeah, I would say if you're sedentary and then you are thinking of buying the monthly gym membership, and then I think if you biohack your working place or like a change your working habit, that's like a bigger leverage, for your health.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense because, recently also some of the guests that we have talked so much about this thing specifically is the importance of movement, every 1 hour, every 2 hours in the day.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
also in the way that you said, like like sort of like a sprint that you do in every 1 or 2 hours, and it can be any sort of movement. Because we also had Gary Linehan from Human Garage that you also might know of.
Oh, yeah.
So he also spoke about this. We were talking about, like corporate wellness.
By the way, he's a favorite. He does like alignment in the tongue, right? Yeah.
Well, the facial maneuvers, right? So that's what he said, that for corporate wellness, if an office wants to do something to improve their employees' health and well-being, all they can do is in every hour or so they can do a 10-minute sprint sort of an exercise for their employees, right? Like wherein you do any movement, like basically even if you just have to go to the washroom and just do 10 jumping jacks, and that's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And do something again after 1 hour, because it makes so much sense. And that's a tough part today, because if you say that to someone who's really used to intense workouts, goes to the gym and lifts heavy, they'll be like, what are you saying? That's not a workout, that's not even my warm-up. Is it really going to help me? Because we have been in this mindset of all or nothing. Like if that day we aren't able to go for a 1 hour of gym session, we cancel out the whole day, because we feel like if not the hour, then let me just skip the day. But it's really good to know that maybe you could split that 1 hour in 3 times a day. You could do a little lesser intensity of movement, but maybe just do a few push-ups in the morning, some squats in the evening, rather than doing nothing.
I love it, Shakshi. That's the reason I choose not to be a personal trainer but a health consultant, because it's more holistic approach. If I push my client like 1 hour, 2 hours, he or she is like sweating hard, but like they don't sleep, I don't know, 7-8 hours, or their lack of protein intake, I'm just hurting them.
Right.
So it's you're right. People tend to go extreme, either black or white, And I say intense exercise, the 4 seconds. You don't have to do the intense, like maybe hang on the bar, every half an hour or something. That's good.
Right.
That's good enough. And I usually give the advice to combine with a Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes work and 5 minutes break. I think that's like a good way to keep your focus level and productivity, but also it doesn't distract your workflow. So like anything, just like a shake it out and loosen up, that's totally enough.
I mean, it could be as simple as just stretching out your body a little bit for 5 minutes every half an hour that you do, right? So it's as easy as that. We don't really have to go that extreme if we don't have the time, because at times we also overwork ourselves. If it's a New Year goal or something, we want to lose this much weight, we're going to give 1 hour or 2 hours a day, and we are probably not sleeping well at night. We can't really carry that along in the long run. I mean, we will feel exhausted and our motivation will go down after a few weeks, because we're not sleeping right and we are pushing ourselves way too much within the first week itself, right? So setting the bar a little low also helps at times, because if you just split it out, if you chunk your movement goal of the day, it really makes it so much easier, right? So that makes so much sense. Thank you for sharing
totally
that.
Agree. Yeah.
And something very interesting I heard you talk about is corrective exercises for women, specifically around their menstrual cycle. So how does that work? Like, because now, because of a lot of biohackers and a lot of speakers out there, even women are getting more educated ever about the menstrual cycle than they ever did in their school, right? I mean, knowing how to function according to your menstrual cycle, because all 4 weeks are different for a woman and the energy levels are different. So literally scheduling your work, your activity around that cycle can help and make our lives a lot more easier. So how does this work with corrective exercises, and how can we make it? Does it help us ease period pain in some way, or maybe manage our energy levels in some way? How does it work with women for menstrual cycle?
Yes. So first of all, thank you for mentioning that. Women's are not men, like, or smaller men, you know.
Hmm.
Nowadays everybody said that. The reason I was in very specific in women's physiology was like it's already in public, but I used to train the Giselle Bundchen top model, and then when I was training her, like I was almost nerd, like I dig into the women's physiology and then focusing on her health and then collaborate with other practitioners and then the personal chef, like, you know, what she eats and then her condition and everything. When you approach the women's physiology, they have 4 different cycles in a menstruation cycle, and then their condition changes every period. The problem is when they need to go slow, they tend to go harder, usually like a luteal phase right before the menstruation cycle, because it's harder to control the glucose level. So you guys always like, hey, I want a chocolate, I want to eat a little, you know, cheat day, whatever. And also tend to be a little bit puffy, you know, your body try to regain the water. So I don't want that happen. So like I have to sweat hard and train hard. It's a role model study, but like women need to increase 200 to 300 calorie during the luteal phase. Most of women do the opposite. They do like a less calorie because they don't want to get fat or whatever the reason. So
sometimes we do a lot more fasting, right? We end up doing too much
exactly.
fasting.
So once again, if you just kill yourself and during the luteal phase and then like and you lose the good routine and the motivation and everything, why don't you guys focus on the breathing quality and the sleep quality? That's why like I recommend the corrective exercises, you know. Once again, so breathing technique could be, I don't know, you could do the certain position well with the yoga block or band exercise, and then focus on the longer exhale to loosen up the pelvic floor, especially those who just gave a birth, you know, their anatomy completely changed, like the weakness of their certain body part. So I can't speak like average gens should do this exercise or that. Like it all depends on like who you are and then the injury history and then, like, you know, giving the birth. And if you're a busy mom, you may carry the baby on the right side of hand or left side of hand. Okay, so that area might be like internally rotated, and then like your like left and right balance should be the different. Yeah, okay, I do the squat, I do the push-up. Like you may not do the bilateral exercise, but like a split or like something like, you know, it's very complicated when it comes to the corrective exercise. Oh, what should I do for the workout? You know what, like how many steps did you have today? You know, like 8,000 to the 10,000. Like that's like if you keep that and then like you skip corrective exercise 1 or 2 days per week, if you hit the 8,000 steps, the 10,000 steps like every day and during this week, luteal phase maybe like a little bit decreased. I did yoga instead. That's, you know, you gain more. Think about it, you have like 7 fights during the week. If you win 4 times, you lose 3 times, you still win, you know. So women should focus on not like, you know, undefeated every single day. Think about like, you know, oh, like this week I made it like I got a 4 win fights, and then like I lost like 3 fights, but like next phase like I should do like 5 wins and 2 loses or something like that, you know.
Right.
Speaking of biohacking, that's why like you want to add some like, you know, the fasting. I should not say like a fasting for the women, and then heat and cold. When you do the like men's recommended like protocol, which is like a 16 hours fasting or like a sauna session, women definitely do during the follicular phase right after the menstruation cycle. That period they're more, you know, tolerant for the lower calorie state, and also they could do the high intense interval training. But once again, that's, I don't know, the young and like it's not like a post-menopause women, you know. They have to, yeah. See that, like when I pick up like one situation, like I can't do like I can't speak for all women, you know. Absolutely. What I mean? Yeah. And then like their temperature is like different. That's why like it'll be a good idea to check with the wearable. So the temperature goes up, that means like a progesterone level goes up, and then like hey, sauna is good for us. I heard the biohackers do the sauna session. It might be not good for your state right now. Instead, maybe you wanna do some like infrared sauna, not like a regular the smoke finish sauna, but like far infrared, like light. In Japan there's a like I don't even know in English, the rock and the mineral, like a yeah, heated, and then it doesn't like dripping your sweat, but like a little bit, you know. And or like an Epsom salt bath, but like control the comfortable temperature, something like that. It's very complicated for each women's state. and now
Absolutely.
every woman has like a different cycle too, so
True.
first no more guesswork, like if you're financially comfortable, like spend on the whatever the resource, wearable or the test. And then nowadays they can do the virginal floater or condition test too, yeah, it's very important to see what's going on in your body.
Right, of course. And I think Dr. Mindy speaks beautifully about fasting and menstrual cycles for women. I mean, she explains it really well in her book called Fast Like a Girl, right? I mean, if somebody wants to read up, they can definitely read up more about it from Dr. Mindy, because the way she explains menstrual cycle is not something even we've been talking school, right? So I mean, it's amazing to know it and understand your cycle that way,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And like you said, definitely we need to function according to a cycle. Women are not little men, and we cannot copy paste the same recipe that has been out there, right?
Exactly,
So it's
yeah.
true, like just working alongside our hormones can be something very useful. And today we're doing it the exact opposite. I mean, we'll do everything other than change our lifestyle just for around our hormones. We want to change everything else but not this. So that's very true. That will make a major difference. And I'm sure that even people who go to the gym regularly and who lift, they also feel this imbalance in their body, right? Like, I mean, there's a lack of symmetry, and they'll also see that how one side is bigger than the other side sometimes. It's not proportionate. And also
Yes.
when you do reps, you'll feel how one side lacks a little bit than the other side. So I'm sure that carrying it on for the longer time can cause some injuries, and this is the time to introduce some corrective exercises along the way, right?
Yeah, thank you for I love to talk about this topic with women, but usually why, especially a male fighter, talk about women's physiology, they always
True.
look, it's very normal taboo, and it's very important, in health general. And then I'm also work as a Japanese ambassador for the Red Box, which is I'm pretty sure in India too, financially they can reach out to the hygiene products. I kind of work with a Japanese company, get the
Right.
donation to provide menstruation the products for the
Amazing.
every female students. It's very important. And then even young female athletes, they want to stop the cycle, so that they can
Right.
perform more. That's crazy. Years later, they have osteoporosis and then all the bone problem, and
I mean, it's the sad reality, but definitely today's very high performing female athletes, most of them do have some or the other hormonal issue, or they probably don't even get their menstrual cycles because of so much overexhaustion and all the training and the no rest phases during the years, right? That takes a toll on your body as a whole.
I mean, it's kind of sounds weird, but the U.S. Women's soccer team, their training protocol is based on the cycle state. So I don't know specifically, but this position, you guys do this training menu, and you guys are tend to be tired, so a little bit
Right.
light, and they separate the training menu, even though they're team sports. They
That's
won the
amazing.
World Cup. Yeah, I mean all training protocols should be like that.
Very true.
And then we have a technology too, the GPS, how many kilos you run during the workout, and then heart rate, and then the body temperature.
Right.
Yeah, it's not like rocket science. Like you and me, talk about a little bit about women's physiology, so ordinary people get more attention about what's going on inside of the body. So
Absolutely. That makes so much sense. And thank you for sharing that. This brings us to the end of the episode today. Do you have any last messages or thoughts to leave us with? This brings us to the end of the episode today.
I'm pretty excited to expand biohacking and well-being. I strongly believe that not the health, but well-being would be our first priority and the currency in the future. Sooner or later, your health is gonna be your asset. And nowadays, so many things going on in the world, but if we prioritize our well-being, I think we're gonna find the peaceful place on the planet. To make that happen, why don't we go for the East, Japan and India? We have a great history and culture, and then the biohacking, and then all the health and wellness and science. Always Western culture lead this industry. Without us, come to our country, go to the India, and then see what we see reality is like more important than what we learn from the textbook. That's my word.
Amazing. Thank you so much. It's a lovely message, and we hope to see your work come to India soon and get to experience this for ourselves as well. And for the ones who don't follow you already, there'll be links in the description below. They can reach out to you, learn a lot more from you, and probably somehow train with you for corrective exercises and a lot more. So thank you so much once again
Yeah,
for being here.
same here. Thank you, Sakri.
Thank you.